Hi everyone, I'm Kathy, your host for today. I'd like to bring this case to light. It happened last year, but it is really horrific and disgusting and everything else about it. Um, it should never happen to. Oh, sorry, I'm having problems with the headphones today. It should never happen to a woman. Um, but when you get to know the details of this case, if you haven't already heard, it is really, 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 really nasty. I can't state enough. It's horrific. Um, this was her missing poster. She went missing on November the 3rd, 2025, and she was age 22. Um, she came from Michigan and she was observed apparently getting into a dark coloured vehicle near the 21 Half Road. Her cell phone was later recovered in the vicinity. Now, I shall read out a little bit of what happened to her. As I said, she went missing, and then November the 25th, few weeks after she went missing, Rebecca was sadly found unalived in the Michigan forest on November the 25th. Her mum and stepfather, Courtney and Bradley Bartholomew, have both been charged with her murder. Courtney alleged confessed to cutting Park's unborn child, who she claimed was Bradley's, out of her womb. Now, if you're don't like these type of things, then viewer discretion is advised. There is some bad bits about this case. So, if you're going to be affected by this, then I'd probably not watch it because it is very distressing and it comes with a warning disclaimer, thing. So I will play a video and then I'll try and show some documents. I've never done documents before, but I will try and see if I can suss this out because I am new to YouTube. I think I'm in my third week, maybe. So I'm still learning every day of some how to do something, and I'm not just learning from like other YouTubers that do these programs. And I just excuse me, my voice. I try and work things out myself because that's the way I work. And with having dyslexia, documents will be my worst enemy because I see the word, but the word doesn't come out of my mouth the way it should say it. So I will advise you now. I may be sort of like getting tongue tied and that, but that is just down to my dyslexia. But I don't want my dyslexia to stop me from doing the things that I really want to do. And I really want to grow on this channel as well. So several disturbing details have emerged from following the murder of the pregnant Rebecca Park, whose body was found in November 2025. Park was only weeks away from her due date. You know, any mum will be getting excited to be having a baby and know that the baby will be here in a couple of weeks' time. But she was last seen on November the 3rd after leaving her mum's home. Weeks after trying to locate her, Park's body was discovered in Michigan Forest on November the 25th. But sadly, there wasn't any signs of her baby, which is horrifying. It's really not nice. An autopsy showed that she was no longer pregnant. That is so unbelievably sad. It really is. The next day, Park's sister and I told you I'd get tongue tied. Fiance Kimberly Park and Richard Fowler were arrested and later arraigned on several charges, only to be released on bail days later. How pathetic is that to get released from bail? That's terrible. Then Park's mother and stepfather, Courtney and Bradley Bartholomew, were arrested and charged with her murder on December the 1st. During their courtroom appearance the next day, prosecutors claimed that Park's mother had cut her unborn child out of Rebecca's womb. It is evil. They are monsters. They literally are. I mean, who could do such a thing? I have heard of other stories where a baby's been cut out of an adult, a woman's womb. But what, it stuns me. I don't know how people can do it. I'm really lost for words. I don't know how people can do this type of crime and sleep at night, because it is totally disgusting. And then Wexford County prosecutor Joanna Carey told the judge it's a case of premeditated torture, murder, alleging the pair had created a plan and conducted the research. This is frankly evil and evil personalized. It is terrible. The probable cause of affidavits reviewed by the People show that Courtney initially denied any involvement, but later allegedly confessed to cutting the fetus and made additional explosive claims, including that Bradley said he was the baby's father. So what happened to Rebecca? I will play a news clip because they'll explain it a bit better than me, and it saves me from getting tongue-tied. So I'll just add these people. This is Courtney, and that's the other person. Absolutely disgusting, if you ask me. Let me just share my screen. Is that the news? Nope. I think that's the news. Right, let's go onto that one. Let me find it. Make it bigger. So this is from Court TV. I'll play the story and let you hear it.
But first, 22-year-old Rebecca Park was nearly full term in her pregnancy when she vanished on November 3rd after visiting family. Weeks later, searchers found her body in a remote Michigan forest. Prosecutors say her own mother and stepfather lured her into the woods, stabbed her, tortured her, then cut the unborn baby from her womb,
Disgusting.
Killing both mother and child. The horror of the crime stunned the community. As the hunt continues for the baby's remains, a family's hopes have been replaced by grief and a demand for justice louder than ever. Tonight, the latest in this gruesome, shocking case. I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments. And I'm going to let you know at the top of the show, this is going to be a difficult hour. This is going to be a heavy hour because we are dealing with depravity tonight.
Trying to get
adults who are not doing what they are supposed to do.
It's this bit here. Oops.
Which is what I say at the end of this program every night, night after night. Hug the kids. Take care of the kids. Protect the children. That's our job as adults.
It is.
That didn't happen. And these stories are incredibly tragic, but there is a sense that justice needs to be found here.
Exactly.
Let's start on another note here. When you're a grandparent, grandchildren are the prize, okay? You have children, you raise children. You know, I know. It's not always easy. It's rewarding, but it is work. It is hard. You worry. You stay up late. You get up early. You run to practice with them. You're worried about their grades.
And you have hours and hours and hours of no sleeping. And then you got TV problems and everything else that goes with bringing up children. But we still do it. We love to do it.
You hope they're not being bullied. All of those things. And then they grow up and they become adults. And you're like, okay, that's good. Now what? The grandchildren. That's the prize for the grandparents, because you get to enjoy those children with a little bit less of the heavy lifting that you did as a parent. And your children then take care of that, right? That's the way it should be. They're the prize. At the end of all this, this is the prize for us. And when I say that, like, for grandparents, even George and Cindy Anthony, you can say what you want about them. Kaylee Marie was their prize. Their daughter, she got pregnant. They never knew who the father was, all of that. Their daughter was horrible person, but the prize was Kaylee Marie Anthony. They loved that girl. They loved her so much that Cindy wanted to raise her and wanted Casey just kind of out of the picture because she was not being a responsible parent. That's another story for another time. But the point of it is that grandparents, we love our grandchildren. Okay, let's talk about Rebecca Park. She was full term, getting ready to bring life into the world. An amazing time, an amazing moment for anyone. Whatever your situation is, like you're getting ready to give birth, the miracle of life, then you're going to have this bundle of joy. That's going to be work. I get it, but it's a bundle of joy. Like these are some of the best memories you'll have until you're a grandparent, right? Now let's talk about Courtney Bartholomew, her biological mother. She's accused of carving out her own grandchild out of her daughter's stomach. What? This story is beyond. Like someone, you're this close to being a grandma, and you're going to carve that baby out of your daughter's stomach. What is going on here? Let's get to some more facts here. Rebecca Park, what do we know about her? 38 weeks pregnant, last seen November 3rd. Her remains were discovered November 25th in the Manistee National Forest, but the baby that she was carrying was not located with her body. Courtney Bartholomew.
And just to bring it up to date, today's date is the 5th of March, 2026. We still don't know what happened to that baby. That is the worst bit of this story. Where is that baby boy? You know, he's somewhere. He is absolutely somewhere, but we haven't heard, or at least if people have heard, I've not heard about it. I've tried searching latest on Rebecca Parks and that, but nothing comes up about the baby.
Bartholomew, who is she? That's Rebecca Parks' biological mother, but Rebecca was apparently raised by a couple who adopted her and her siblings. Then you have Brady Bartholomew. Who's he? That's Courtney's husband, the stepfather, the biological father of Rebecca Park, the victim here. What are the charges against these two? First-degree murder, felony murder, torture, conspiracy to commit torture, assault of a pregnant individual, conspiracy to commit assault, unlawful imprisonment, removing a body without medical examiner permission. Now, prosecutors say that these two brought Rebecca to their home, forced her into another vehicle, took her into the woods where they stabbed her, forced her to lie on the ground while they cut that beautiful baby out. And investigators are saying, prosecutors are saying that both she and the baby died. But again, I don't believe they've found the baby yet.
No.
Now, there's two other people in all of this. Kimberly Park is Rebecca's sister, also arrested, charged with tampering with evidence, lying to a peace officer, and false report of a felony. And you've got another man, Richard Fleur. Who's he? This is Rebecca Park's fiance. He was arrested but charged with 2 counts of delivering methamphetamine. Okay, so not charged for what happened to his fiance. Let's get some more details here. I'm bringing in anchor and reporter for 9 and 10 News in Cadillac, Michigan. Jody Meason is with us. Jody, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. I know you guys have been all over the story, digging up all the details here. What do we know about the status of the baby? Has the baby's body ever been found? And if not, why do they believe that the baby is not alive?
Well, that's the question, and that's been captivating everybody here in the Cadillac area, is that baby has not been found yet. And they also don't know a motive for the crime as of yet. But what I've been from the preliminary, from what they said during court, it seems like during the arraignment yesterday, they were saying based on the severity of the injuries, they believe that the baby would have died from the attack to Becca Park and the injuries that she sustained. They don't believe that baby would be alive. So they're still trying to figure out where that baby is.
Bloody sad.
And as of right now, we don't know. So they are still looking for that baby. I know that the sheriff's department has been out
I don't know.
actively investigating
looking
this.
of it,
One thing that I
for
did want to
as of now.
clarify
Sure.
in your is the biological mother. She has not been in Becca Park's life up until she was about 18. She was
Look
adopted
at her.
by, you had mentioned earlier,
Could have brushed
another
her hair.
family from the age of 1. And in fact, it was not only Becca, but it was Kimberly and an older brother that were adopted all at the same time. And I did speak to the mom that adopted them, and she says that she tried her best to keep them separate from this family because they were dangerous. And when Becca turned 18, she took it upon herself to go out and seek this family, and it's been a back and forth ever since.
And like I always say, every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child. There's so many things that they could have done. You know, I don't know if Courtney was planning to sell the baby on, because I mean, if she wanted to be part of Rebecca's life with the baby, then you know she would have been a part of it, and then Rebecca would have probably said to her, "Oh, can you look after him? You know, on babysitting duties and etc." So she would have seen her grandson plenty of times. So my logical thinking, if it is logical, I believe Courtney and Bradley had planned to sell the baby. And that, because in that area, I believe there's a lot of trafficking going on. So I believe their end goal was to sell the baby. I don't think she wanted to be a grandparent. You know, and I think she thought at first that Rebecca would die or be unalived, I should say, or whatever. And then have the baby alive. But it didn't go to their plan. It all turned out horribly wrong. And now they're all paying for what they did. And I hope they rot in jail. I really do, because it's despicable what they've done. I mean, Bradley looks friggin' evil, and Kimberly and Courtney and Richard, they just look like they're on drugs all the time and don't care what's going on as long as they've got their drugs. So, but I'll carry on playing this.
That's such a tragic part of this story, Jody. You know, you have this adoptive family, raises them, but like everyone, I guess not everyone, but most people who get adopted, you always see these stories on television. Oh, I just want to reunite with my biological family. And I guess that happened here, and it's been incredibly tragic and
Tragic
fatal
isn't the word.
at this point. When we talk about motive, you said they haven't mentioned a motive. So nothing in court about why. Was there bad blood? Was there any sort of strange family dynamics going on?
You know, it's really hard to determine. I've talked to a lot of the people in this case. I've talked to Richard, I've talked to Kimberly, and I've talked to Courtney. The only one I haven't talked to is Bradley. And they've all the stories were kind of very different. Like I remember, you know, after I talked to Richard and I was talking to Kimberly and Courtney, I felt like the stories just didn't coincide. There was just a lot of just weirdness surrounding it. Just different things from the descriptions that they were wearing, of the clothing, the time of night that they left, and just questions like somebody pulls up into your driveway and takes your biological daughter, and you've never seen this car before, and that's kind of weird, right? Usually, you know who your daughter's friends are, or if they've been in contact recently. She had said that they had talked a lot in recent days. In fact, she was over there. Becca was over there because they were planning a baby shower that was supposed to happen the following weekend, according to Courtney. But it's really hard because there's been a lot of misinformation given out, some of it from Courtney herself. And so I think that's where investigators really have to really dig deep and find out what is the truth here, because there has been a lot of discrepancies with the stories.
Right, because this all began as a missing persons, right? And there's the investigation, and it wasn't until they found the body, and now the arrests have taken place. Jody, I wanted to play something for you that we found on Courtney's Facebook page. It was this recording. An unknown speaker is talking and providing, it seems like some...
I've not seen this before. I'm recording it for you, so This is all new to me, so I'll be reacting the same time as you are.
Sort of an alibi for Courtney. Let's take a listen to it.
She gave me my meds at about 8:40. I don't remember a lot, as I just said, but she was there when I went to bed, and she was also there when I woke up the next day. I know that she never goes out and about when I'm sleeping, just because she doesn't like to drive at night.
Do we know any more of the details or background on who is speaking in this alleged alibi?
I know there is, Courtney does have a son that lives at the house. You know, just based off of, you know, what I heard, if it was somebody that was living at the home, I would assume maybe perhaps that it was him, but, you know, I can't confirm that. To me, that just makes sense.
Sure. And finally, Jody, how about the community there? I did see some images from inside the courtroom. Can you describe the impact of this story and this case at this point on this community?
It was emotional in court yesterday when all the details came out. I mean, we've been wanting to know for, you know, close to a month now what happened. And that was the first time that the Sheriff's Department has really opened up about some of the details of the case. And there was a lot of crying in the courtroom. Obviously, the details were horrific. The prosecutor said that it was evil personified because of just what they were accused of doing. So, and I think, you know, to be fair, I think the Sheriff's Department, because it was a case that drew a lot of attention here in the area. I mean, we had people searching from over an hour away. People all over the state even have been invested in this story. I'm up here in northern Michigan, but I've been contacted by, you know, family members from downstate that even wanted to know what was going on because they knew I was reporting on it. But the Sheriff's Department, they've been really tight-lipped, and I think they are just trying to gather that evidence, and they want to make sure that whoever did this, you know, faces the consequences, and there's no chance of them getting out of this. So I think that's why they're being so tight-lipped. But it really kind of created the situation here where people wanted more information. They were really wanting to know what was happening, and there wasn't a lot of information. There was a lot of misinformation that was going on. And so I think, you know, there was just this sense of sadness when we all found out what had happened and that it was at the hands of somebody that supposedly loved her. I got to tell you, as a reporter, I went to that Courtney's house and I talked to her, and, you know, to have somebody tell you a week after, of course, she hasn't been convicted, but a week after she's accused of killing her daughter, and the way that she was talking to me, and, you know, she was just giving other things like maybe she ran away, maybe she's trying to get away from Richard. She has 2 older kids that are placed with her adopted mom, that her adopted mom is taking care of right now. And, you know, they were saying, well, maybe she didn't want to get her 3rd child taken from her. So it just felt like she had a lot of reasons for why she might have left. She said that she was concerned, but it was just a very weird kind of interaction.
Jody Meason, 9 and 10 News in Cadillac, Michigan. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And hopefully we'll speak more as this case progresses. We appreciate it. All right, let's bring in our think tank. Joining me live in studio tonight, criminal defense attorney Eklund Mercy, along with criminal defense attorney, law professor Meg Strickler, and the man behind the glasses, criminal defense attorney Josh Schiffer. Wow. Wow. What's going on here?
Meth. One word, meth.
But
It fried their brains, made them not think right, and then do some really crazy things, mixed with mental illness, and then maybe money.
Where meth is involved, logic and empathy is not. And that's the real issue. Once meth is involved, nothing makes sense. And things being, children being cut out of places, people dying, it happens when meth is involved. And that's just what it is.
But the one thing I will say about that, though, is that it's not just like they're doing it in some place. Like there's like they're taking her, driving her out to the woods. Like this is an involved plot.
it makes me actually hope that this infant has been trafficked away, and I'm hoping that the baby has survived and has been sold to either a meth head or some crazy trafficker, because then at least the baby's alive. And I have no clue what drives someone to cut a pregnant woman's stomach open and remove a baby.
Like that other woman's just said, that when meth is involved, there's no sense, rhyme, or reason to anything that people do if they're on meth. Well, it obviously destroys your brain cells and doesn't make you think clearly. I don't know a lot about that particular drug or any drugs really, because I don't do them. But you know, if meth doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up.
The moment you get there, we've left reality and reasonableness and are solely existing in mental health and drug-addled insanity. And the craziness, that screams meth. Meth makes you do things that are otherwise just illogically horrifying.
It fries your brain, literally. And I'm not trying to be a drug ad here. It just, we all three have had clients.
You've
We've seen it. Yep.
So the other part of the story that I think is so tragic that we learned from Jody was this, you know, reuniting with your biological family. Like I am hooked on those videos. I'm in the algorithm and I watch them over and over, these happy reunions, the tears, the joy, and then the, you know, melding of the families and, oh, we're catching up. Yeah. This is bad.
But also, they say meth goes with mental health, or excuse me. I don't think that made it better. Excuse me. I apologize for that. You just have to put up with a croaky voice. Why? Gosh, this is really bad for me. Why is it drugs go with mental health? And they say that if you've got mental health problems, you're going to drink or go on drugs. But equally, there's thousands and thousands and probably millions of people that got mental health issues, and they're not on drugs. Oh, excuse me. They're not on drugs or alcohol and things. You know, I disclose that I've also got mental health issues, but I don't turn to drugs or alcohol or anything like that. So, so there is two classes of mental health. There's the mental health where you're on medication for it and you get through every single day absolutely fine with no problems. But then you get the mental health people with mental health issues that turn to drugs and alcohol and other types of crimes that it leads to. Once you go on to alcohol and drugs, it leads to crime. So mental health is, you know, split down the middle between two categories, I think. But I'll carry on playing. It's good that I got my voice back. It's always the same. Every time I come to do a recording, my voice goes. But also while I'm here and Paul's there, I don't want to do too much talking just in case it goes again. If you can like and subscribe to my channel, I really would appreciate it. It helps the algorithm and helps my channel to grow. I've only been doing this 2 or 3 weeks now, so you know I've got a lot more learning to do and things. But I've said that if I can get 100 subscribers, I will start doing live recordings. I did a live the other day or last week, and it was pitiful. I did a short live because I thought I'll see how I could cope with a live and keeping an eye on chat and everything else. I've also got a second monitor ready for when I start doing live, so it's easier to see the messages, etc., etc. But I did my first live, and not one person came into the room. So sad. Get the violins out and the tissues ready, because it was so sad. And I thought, I'm never doing lives again. That was scary. But hey ho, here I am. I'm still plowing through. But thank you for watching. You know, I really do appreciate it. And if you leave me any comments, I'll always reply to comments. You know, I'm happy to reply to comments. And if you want to send me cases, you've got my email at the bottom of the screen. It's truecrimefiles2026@gmail.com.
Unfortunately, it happens often. You have a lot of children who have these, souped up, hyped up Disney type ideas of what their family is supposed to be. And once and especially with the growing of 23andMe and things of that nature, that has been
I love her
putting
hair.
people together in
I wish I could
situations
have
that they
dreads.
shouldn't be in. But there's nothing that you can tell a child
Braids or whatever
that
they're
will
called.
prevent them from wanting.
Right. You can understand it. You feel so bad for her.
Oh, it stopped. I didn't realize that I'd finished. Beg your
But
pardon.
first,
Let's stop that. Yes, there's another one I have found. So let me just take this one off stage. Stop screen. A bit closer of me now. Because there was a video I found that Sosay had the a bit more story of the court case. So I'll just play that to you. I just got to find it on the tab. So it's Bio Mum. So let's add to stage. Share screen. Bio Mum. So I'll just do that one. Can I make it larger? Bit larger. Let me see what that looks like on there. Oh yeah, that's fine. So yeah, so we'll just go over it. Go.
Investigators say happened to the 22-year-old and her
I
baby.
can't
Rebecca
adjust the
biological
sound.
mother
Oh
and
yes, I can.
stepfather, Courtney and
There
Bradley
we go.
Bartholomew in court today on 8 charges each.
Now we are warning you, the details of this case are very difficult
Yeah,
to hear. Up
so-
north, Tony Lundy joins us live
Advised.
from the Wexford County Courthouse, where the couple was charged with the murder of
I
Rebecca
can't
and
make
her
it
baby.
any
Tony,
louder, guys.
What was the atmosphere like inside that courtroom today?
Well, Melissa and Mark, the courtroom was packed with family and others from the community, all hopeful to find answers on this month-long case. But many left that courtroom today.
So you want to start a business?
Oh,
You might
go
be
away,
needed.
ads. Oops. What have I done? Let me go back to that one. Where can I stop? Oh, darn. Done it again. Right, let's go back a minute. Let me get rid of this one because that's obviously an ad. No. Skip
Heartbroken.
ad.
The graphic
Sorry about
details
that, guys.
laid
I
out
didn't
by the
realize there was an
prosecuting
advert
attorney
in it.
describing what investigators say led to the death of Rebecca Park and her baby. The accused, Rebecca's biological mom, Courtney Bartholomew, and stepdad, Brad Bartholomew.
They brought Rebecca Park to their home. They forced her into a vehicle and took her into the woods where they stabbed her, forced her to lie on the ground while they cut her baby out of her, ultimately causing her death and the death of the baby.
If you can't hear this, guys, I would say turn up your TV volume because I've got the volume up as high as I can on here and I can't make it any louder for you guys. Even I'm struggling to hear it.
The courtroom was filled with the same people who desperately searched for Rebecca after she was reported missing 1 month
She's
ago.
gorgeous, isn't
And
she?
now, hearing the details that led to her death left many
Oh,
visibly
no.
distraught. The prosecutor asking the judge to leave no room for leniency.
This is as heinous and as awful.
So you want to start a business?
Why
might think
is
you need a
it
team of
got
people with
adverts?
fancy
I
test
do
skills, but you
apologize for
don't.
these
You
adverts.
just need GoDaddy Arrow.
The case as it could be. And I don't believe there are any circumstances in which Mr. Bartholomew should be granted any bond.
The judge did agree, ordering both Courtney and Bradley Bartholomew to continue being held without bond and are ordered to not have communication with one another from the jails. Live in Wexford County, Tony Lundy, Up North Live News.
Thanks for those updates, Tony. Now, as the case
Yeah,
does
so that was an update. I only found this while I was on the screen with you guys. Let me just put a picture up of Rebecca. Yeah, so it's a really horrible story. I know this happened November last year, so it's like 5 months ago now, but it's becoming a lost case. You know, we need to try and find out what happened to that baby. I had heard that Courtney supposedly had said that she tried reviving the baby and the baby died, but we need to know where the body is so that he can have a proper burial or cremation, and that if he did survive and he's been sold, I hope whoever's got him are taking the best care of him, because he needs all the love in the world. He needs decent parents. I'm glad that Courtney didn't become the grandmother to him, because she certainly doesn't deserve to be a grandmother for the heinous crimes that she's done. So, I wanted to bring this forward to let people know that Rebecca's case hasn't been forgotten. We need to give a voice to the voiceless, to the adults and to children. They need voices because the dead don't speak. Well, they do when I'm doing my paranormal investigation. So I don't know why I said that. But yeah, so the next thing I want to try and do is bring up some documents if I can, but I need to close a few screens down so I've got plenty of thing, because I've not done this yet. I've not been able to show documents, but I want to show one of the documents. So I need to do this, remove from studio, share screen. There's loads and loads of documents, so I won't go through them all and I won't read them all out. So I'll go slowly to hopefully you can have a read as well. So this was the People of State Michigan, Wexford County Sheriff's Office. And the plaintiff is Kimberly Sue Park. She was born on the 16th of August, 2004. So it says the affiant is duly sworn by a police officer with the Wexford County Office, arrests to the following facts based on personal investigations, or is swearing the facts as presented by fellow sworn deputy sheriff to establish probable cause of that crime of lying to police, obstructing an investigation, making false reports of felony, and was committed by the defendant and affiant in respectively seeking a warrant for the defendant's arrest. On Tuesday, the 4th of November at 12:44, Kimberly Sue Park, date of birth, reported her 22-year-old sister, Rebecca K. Park, had not been seen since the prior evening. Kimberly identified that Rebecca was last known to be with Courtney, which is Boone Township of Wexford County. Courtney is the biological mother to Rebecca and Kimberly. At the time of the report, Park was 38 weeks pregnant and living with her boyfriend, Richard Lee Fowler. Kimberly's Park provided the sheriff's office with a cellular phone that was identified as the one that Rebecca had been using at the time of her disappearance. And then on Saturday, the 22nd of November last year, Kimberly Park made statements on social media, live broadcasts, that she was aware of the information that Courtney Bartholomew and her husband, Brad Bartholomew, had something to do with Rebecca's disappearance. I hope you can all read this yourself. I will go slowly. I've got about 6 documents and I don't think my voice can read them all through. And I don't think my dyslexia will let me read them all through either. So I will go slowly because I managed to obtain these documents, which is really useful. But in this case, there's a lot of documents. So 25th of November, the body of the deceased woman was found at the Federal Forest Service Road, which is a straight line approximately 2.5 miles of their residence. A tattoo above the left eye of the deceased person was consistent with the tattoo of Rebecca that she has. Park had sharp, I don't like it when they say Park. I wish they'd just say Rebecca. I should have edited this myself. Rebecca had sharp force trauma wounds to her neck and her stomach and had been cut open. Detective Sergeant Jamie Voss and Detective Sergeant Oliver Whetstone met with Kimberly Park at her residence in Howard Township. All these American names, it's really difficult for me to pronounce, and I guess it is vice versa when, people from America or Canada or Australia find it the same when we talk, and, with some of our words and things. So, 2025 for non-custodial interview based on the discovery of the body. During the interview, Kimberly Park discussed the relationship details between herself and Richard Fowler. No, it was not Rebecca, is it? Parker made a statement to Fowler and had told her that Rebecca had been taken care of and not to worry about it. Park went on to say that Fowler had told her to lie to the detective lieutenant. Well, that's a bad thing to lie anyway, but I guess if you're high on meth, it makes your mind go crazy. And they say Courtney and Brad Bartholomew hit Rebecca over the head and knocked her out and drove her and dumped her body. That is exactly what they did. They had no care for Rebecca whatsoever. All they wanted was that baby. And another way they could have done it was abduct the baby once the baby's born. They had literally less than 2 weeks to wait. And once Rebecca given birth to a healthy baby boy, then Courtney and that could have snatched the baby off her and ran off. They didn't have to do the heinous crime that they did. It is totally bloody disgusting. It really is. It really annoys me that someone can do something that bad to their own daughter. It's disgusting. Detective Lieutenant Pisker began a recorded interview with Kimberly Park on Tuesday, the 25th of November at 8:26. Park was provided with a Miranda warning, which she waived prior to commencement of the interview. Kimberly identified that on Tuesday, the 4th of November 25, she was with Richard Fowler at his home. He told her that he killed Rebecca and he wanted to protect Kimberly by not sharing the details with her. Park identified during a different conversation with Fowler that he had told her that something went wrong while they were trying to cut the baby out of Rebecca. She reported that Fowler told her and Austin Nolan had helped with Rebecca. Park said that Fowler had also been encouraging her to mislead the investigation, and it was the reason she was sharing misleading information on social media live broadcasts. Park told Detective Lieutenant Pisker that Fowler was becoming concerned about the investigation getting close to him, and that on Thursday or Friday before the Saturday, the 22nd of November last year, Fowler assisted her with the creation of the accusation that she made to Detective Pisker. I'm going to just say it, Pisker, because try and keep it short. During the interview on that date, there appeared to be additional unsubstantiated knowledge that Park had about Rebecca. This included statements about Rebecca possibly having been stored in an unknown location. Detective Hackman arrested Richard for the open murder of Rebecca based on the statement he made by Kimberly Park. So that's just a brief description of what they did and what he admitted to. It's been all over the news, and then that's just a signature. There was another one. See if it's any different. Let me open it and go back to studio remove. Add to stage. No, it's not add to stage. Remove. Oh. What have I got to do? I've got to stop sharing that one. Told you it's all learning. I'll just go through one more because otherwise you'll be here all day if I land up reading every single document, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 6 documents, and there's no way I can read all 6 out because they do go on and on and on, and it's just I have problems with some words, so I don't want to embarrass myself anymore with trying to pronounce words. So I'll just scroll through it slowly, and I may read out the odd part. No, I won't, because my voice is going again. I'll scroll slowly so that you can try and quickly read this for yourself. So start there. If I go across like this, and then you can read it. Some people read quicker. That bit I don't like is where it says felony, murder, torture, conspiracy to commit torture, assault of a pregnant individual, causing miscarriage or stillbirth, conspiracy to commit assault of a pregnant individual, causing miscarriage, stillbirth, unlawful imprisonment, removing a dead body without the consent of the medical examiner was committed by the defendant, and is respectively seeking a warrant for the defendant's arrest. Some of you probably have already read this. So we know that Rebecca was 38 weeks pregnant and living with her boyfriend, Richard, at the time. If anybody wanted these documents, I should be able to email them. So you got my email at the bottom of the screen there. So, you know, I'm happy to share the documents with anyone that requests them. So I'll just let you carry on reading this. There's a couple bits like on Wednesday, the 5th of November, Detective Pisker met with Kimberly Park when she arrived at Wexford County Sheriff's Office. Park suggested that she might know where Rebecca is when she arrived at the sheriff's office. When I asked her about this, she played me a voice message from Courtney Bartholomew and said that Aria Clark had called her and said that 2 people in a car pulled up to the Rival Centre looking for Narcan and said that there's a pregnant woman missing. She got what she deserved, Courtney stated, to that it was Serena Roche that had said something to Rusty. She also added, I guess it was an older guy that your sister left with. When I asked Kimberly if she knew where she is, she answers that the older guy, that only the older guy, and Rebecca talks to Steve Billets and calls him a pervert. Park believes that Billet drives a black sedan, adding to, like Courtney said to Steve, was contacted and did not appear to have any contact with Rebecca Park. And Kimberly reported that she has looked through the phone and observed that the last communication on the phone reporting a missed video call from cullen14@gmail.com on Friday, the 3rd of October at 8:43. The last text message on Rebecca's phone was on Sunday, and the last phone call was Courtney on Sunday, the 2nd of November. So yeah, so it's just an incredibly sad story. I have got other reports on Bradley and that, but it's a lot. I mean, I feel sorry for the person that had to type all this up. It must have took them ages. Unless they're speed typing. Yeah, so it was reported, I think, as well, that Rebecca had gone for what she thought was labor pain. So she had gone to a hospital, but she discharged herself like the next day or something. It would have been best for Rebecca to stayed in the hospital because she would have been safer there. So yeah, so I'll just scroll slowly or give you time to read. Because I haven't read every single one of these documents because it is quite a lengthy read. So just scroll up again. Hope you've all read it too before I scrolled it. Yeah, so Courtney said, because there was a thing that a grandparent had say left Rebecca some money. And Courtney had said when they arrived at her house, she gave Rebecca an envelope with 2,000 cash in it, and they discussed Courtney throwing a baby shower. She identified that Rebecca didn't want a baby shower because she was afraid of the CPS getting involved to take the baby. Yeah, so I just go through a couple of these, but I'm glad they didn't get, their court case, and I'm glad they got done. I can't remember how long they got each, but they should be locked up for life. They really should. And then like this one, during an interview, Courtney Bartholomew said she did not know where Rebecca was. When Courtney was asked if she had done anything to harm Rebecca Park, she said she would never hurt her daughter. Well, she did. She lied and lied and lied and lied. So yeah, so you get the story, but like I said, if anyone wants these documents, I'm quite happy to email them to you. Because there is quite a few pages, and I think if I read every single one, you lot would get annoyed at my dyslexia for not pronouncing words and getting tongue-tied. And secondly, I'd be here till 6 o'clock tonight, and it's nearly midday now. So yeah, so thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. And if you could like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that as well, because it helps me to get into the YouTube's algorithms and that. So I hope you all have a good day. Stay safe. And if it's sunshining where you are, enjoy the sunshine. It's sunny here at the moment, but I feel pretty cold in my room at the moment. I've got no heating on and the back door's wide open. So I'm letting the cold in. So thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to email me and we go from there. Thank you. Bye.